on, no?
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, then I think we will start. And to start with, I would like to welcome everyone, the people on the panel and attendees to this third webinar session of Nagaland Organic Connect. And today we have a very important and very the in thing, the local market and the way forward. And we have very eminent personalities here with us today to share their experiences, the challenges that they face, and then the way forward. We're looking forward to hearing from all of them. So without wasting time, I would like to just say that Nagaland Organic Connect has been trying its best to pick up the very important issues and the topic through this webinar program. So we had a series of webinar, and today is another very important session. And as I said, we have international, national, and local figures who are into these local markets, and therefore with their experiences, I'm sure that the attendee will be able to understand the challenges that lies ahead, but also the way forward under their guidance. So we would like to have our very first speaker, and if our honorable sir is ready, then I would like to introduce you to the attendee and request you to start the program. So, sir, Honorable Mayor Rommel C. Arnado, we are very glad that you are here today with us. I know you're a very busy person, but then you spare your time. So I would like to introduce you. We know it's very difficult to tell in very few words about you, but I would like our attendee to know a little bit more about you. So here I go. He is a mayor of Kasquas-Wagan municipality in Philippines since the year 2010. He is also the president of the League of Organic Municipalities, Cities and Provinces, LOAMCPPH, which is an NGO, and under his leadership has over 140 local government chief executives committed to converting their area of governance to 100% organic, which means it will lead to 1.5 million hectare of land and 1.5 lakh farmers to be fully organic. He has won many awards for good governance, making his municipality one of the best governed municipality in the country. He was able to unite Muslim and Christians by breaking the wall through peace-sensitive projects under the concept of SIKAR PA, which is Sustainable and Integrated Kasquas-Wagan Area Development and Peace Agenda. This initiative brought not only the peace, but also reduced the poverty from about 80% to a single-digit figure. Under his leadership, his municipality has won an award of the first UCLG City of Bogota Peace Prize in Colombia for his Arm to Farm program, convincing Muslims to give up the arms and become the first become organic farmer, which we are planning to have another webinar session on this. This program also got an honorable mention in the World Future Council Award. We have a lot of things to tell about him, but as time will not permit, so I'll go straight into requesting our honorable mayor to kindly share with us today, with the attendee, on your achieved food security in your municipality during and post-COVID by implementing policies to strengthen local food system through organic production and distribution. Sir, the time is yours. Hello. Sir, I think your network is a bit of a problem. Hello. Hello. Sir. Oh, Sandeep.
Wait, also I think Vic is logged in as Mayor, so I'll ask Vic to log off. Mayor Romel, can you hear
Yeah.
us? Vic, can you log off as Mayor Romel and sign as you? Maybe Akalji, you start with the next speaker and I will try to get them for the next one.
Okay, okay. Then while waiting for his network, I think we'll start with the second speaker, Mr. Dolo.
There, one second. Mayor Romel, can you hear us? Please come back again.
Okay.
Meromel, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, please start. Please start then. Sir. Please start. Tia, please show his presentation, Tia. Tia,
can you hear me, Sandeep?
Yeah, we can hear you very clearly. Please start, Mayor. Tia will have your presentation in a minute.
Okay. This is my response to COVID-19 global pandemic. When the public health for the best solution, already prepared for a pandemic affecting the community on a massive scale. Hello?
We can hear you.
We can hear you, Mayor. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Many governments across the globe had hoped for a better pre-disaster and pre-crisis system in place. In many aspects, what the world prepared for was not enough for what was to come. Many of us were caught off guard, and we could only hope for the best solution we could urgently come up with. It was in February and March this year when the first wave of coronavirus cases struck the Philippines, Metro Manila in particular. However, many of us never expected such would paralyze the national capital region and eventually many other cities, municipalities, and provinces across the island. Like many, if not all of you experience, we have to live and govern under very difficult circumstances, which eventually became our new normal. And we have to keep business operating, running under these conditions. The key response of the government were to keep people safe, provide food support, prevent local transmission of the virus, and continue to maintain order in society at the same time. We do not have much of a choice, but we all. Hello.
Yes, sir. We can hear you. We can hear you, sir.
Oh, okay. I was worried you cannot hear. Okay, we all had to continue to comply with such measures. Not only that, we continue to innovate for our community and our peers. And to be able to thrive, we all have to make these sacrifices. We need to be able to thrive, sustain life. In a somewhat twist of fate and a test of preparedness, the threat brought to the world by this disease is the complete answer to some questions that pop up to many of my constituents, some 20 of sustainable development and food security. I was a newbie politician and a first-time mayor then, and somehow people had difficulty following instructions and at least understanding the direction of a new leader whom they never worked with and never heard before. On my first time as mayor, I established the Sustainable Integrated Kauswagan Area Development Peace Agenda. I called it SICADPA, an acronym. SICADPA is the local phrase for kicking energy and could also mean still alive and kicking. The goal was to bring up to speed a community that was terrorized by instability, insecurity, underdevelopment, and poverty. I almost didn't make it and was even unsure if I should go ahead and take on this monstrous challenge. Ask me why food security, why sustainability, why farming, and why organic. I may not be able to explain every bit of the detail, nor have the full understanding of why I always believe that from the very beginning that this was where I should be leading this municipality. I may not have a full explanation why I had to do that, what I did back in 2010, but today is the most appropriate answer to these questions. We need to sustain life. We need our communities to sustain. We need our people to find their own solutions to the problem they may have today and in the future. Solutions that are within their reach, solutions that they own. When families and communities are locked down for a period of 3 months, that might be the ultimate challenge for any local government. How do you support thousands of families? How ready is your government? And for the past 10 years, in all my 13 villages within Kauswagan, we built from scratch communal gardens being managed by the people themselves. And of course, provided support. We provided support and we helped them organize. We have working local farmers associations, and we activated a municipal fishery and agriculture council, who are people's organizations, and that are given the task to do the massive food production. Um, Additionally, we have local legislations regarding. Uh, Hello, can you still hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
we can
sir.
hear you. We can hear
We
you.
can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay. We have local legislations regarding this to build our own vegetable household and or backyard gardens. In the beginning, not a lot are understanding what we had to do, what we are doing, why are we doing like this. But today, people are realizing how crucial a household garden is. People are thanking us for requiring them to build those gardens several years ago. In support local farmers, we have planned ahead uh, for the procurement of mechanized farming equipment. We wanted farming to be attractive to many, and so we had to ensure that it becomes not so difficult for them to do. We established numerous trainings and capacity building support for these farmers. On the days during the lockdown, where people's movements were restricted, severely affecting delivery and access to food, many families in the Philippines went hungry. Several local governments were challenged, and everyone tried their best to provide support to their own citizens. And at the same time, the national government extended support to enable local government to extend much needed help. And in April, this year, we distributed 6,000 bags of rice to each household in my municipality, in addition to what was provided by the village councils. That is practically giving food to everyone. Each bag weighs 25 kilos or kilograms and expected to last 2 to 3 weeks for the average family. At the same time, we work with the village council leaders and did an inventory of local farm produce, and these communal gardens have already been established a long time before we were able to make food available to our constituents. In April and May, we launched what we call organic mobile palenque or mobile marketplace. While people's movements are restricted and no food stores were available, we brought the marketplace to their doorstep, and at a low price. Not at a low price, yes. While everybody was in lockdown, people still had access to fresh vegetables and farm produce. And at the same time, their own household gardens provided food augmentations, and the rest of the quarantine days. And lastly, to ensure that we take care of everyone's health, we established our own COVID-19 isolation facility. And this was a product of a public-private partnership where we were able to urgently build a facility that would host individuals suspected of the disease while awaiting swab tests and health intervention. In general, our response was positively accepted by the public. A lot of people were appreciative of such effort, and we will continue to advocate. And perhaps many questions will continue to pop up on the subject of sustainability, food security, and organic agriculture. My commitment is to continue to bear witness how our people, our community need this to be able to sustain life. And the national president of the League of Organic Agriculture, municipalities, cities, and provinces of the Philippines, I will continue to advocate for it and continue to commit to educate more and more citizens in our republic and the rest of the world. Thank you so much
Thank you, sir.
for listening. Are you still with me?
Yes, sir.
You'll have to stay for the question.
Yes, I'm still here.
Sir, I hope you'll stay for the question answer. Hello. Hello, sir. Sandeep?
Yeah, Mayor Romel, you'll have to stay for the question answers. There'll be 2-3 more contributions in the question answer session. You'll have to stay for that.
So he will be staying. So can I go to the next speaker?
Please go ahead.
Okay. Then thank you so much, sir. We are glad to hear a lot of things that you have done for your municipality. And then I think in the question box already some questions are there. We'll come back to you again, sir. Now we have the next speaker, our very own social entrepreneur and fundraiser par excellence, Mr. Dolo Nochete. He was a teacher in Baptist College. Dolo, are you here? Dolo?
Yes, I'm in.
Hello. Yeah.
Yep.
Can you? Yeah. Okay. Great. So he was a teacher earlier, but he started his entrepreneur associate in the year 2000 with a mission to train, mentor, and fund the first generation entrepreneurs so as to help the young minds to shift their focus from only looking at government job to becoming an entrepreneur. He's the first Naga recipient of the International Ashoka Fellow and also a recipient of the Social Entrepreneur of the Year 2016 and many more regional and local awards. He's a grade A national level impaneled national resource person and a member of a very important body, Niti Aayog. He's a standing committee member, CSO of the Niti Aayog. Entrepreneur Associate so far has trained and mentored over 15,000 individuals, not only from Nagaland, but also from Manipur to take up micro enterprise. I have a lot of things to say, but he specifically told me not to say many things, but for the benefit of people around the globe, I think I had to introduce you. So I've done a little bit of that. Now coming to, we want to request you to kindly share your experiences of the local food marketing model that you have taken up, the challenges that you faced, and the way forward for local markets in Nagaland. Thank you. Time is yours.
Thank you, Madam Akali, for the opportunity. And it was so good to hear the Honorable Mayor from Philippines about the initiatives and the work that they've taken up for the country. That's inspiring, and thank you for being with us today. You know, the COVID-19 has brought about something good in the country. And to me, the slogan put forward by the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Mr. Modi, about go vocal for local, it's very nice. And it is also timely for the government of India to envision Atma Nirbhar, to make India a self-reliant economy. This is good because this echoes positively for a state like Nagaland, also for Northeastern region, and of course for the whole country as a whole. Nagaland is largely agrarian, as you know, except for the services that is being absorbed in the government sector, and which is also true, largely true, across the northeastern region. And therefore, the lockdowns that have been brought about by the COVID-19 is a concern for all of us because we are agrarian society. 2021 could have problems of food security for about 200 million people within the country itself. Now, this is not a small issue anymore. The issue of hunger may not be as acute as it can be in the rest of India when we compare with Nagaland. Nagaland's case will be definitely lesser, but it does mean that we are going to have lesser food access to food products in 2021 because of the impact of lockdown, and we are already facing lesser income because of the lockdown. This means that it is going to affect our quality of living. So what did we do with local marketing? You know, whenever we take up activities at Entrepreneurs Associates, we take into consideration three skills, and which is it should be local production, it should be with local skills, and it should have local market. During the COVID, we went to the rural areas with relief items, providing them with dal and rice. We saw that farmers couldn't market their agri producers because the market was disrupted. So we brought back things from the farmers to sell in the urban areas. Entrepreneurs Associates has been funding, training, and mentoring entrepreneurs, but we do not directly go into marketing. But sometimes, in order to help farmers, we have done marketing. And 2 years back, we have developed a social enterprise to serve as the market aggregator. Our experience in marketing is that if we want to help farmers, we tend to go the extra mile to market their producers. And sometimes marketing agri-producers can sustain our activity, but because we go in with social motive rather than profit motive, it is challenging to sustain such an activity, but we have learned over the years that it has to be sustained, and so we have sustained our marketing initiatives. We also look at the end customers. We look from the benefit of the consumers, and so when we provide the best of vegetables, fruits, and meat to our end customers, we know that people are willing to pay a premium price if and when they trust the product. I think this is important. And that is why social enterprises have to be in the mode of business. The second point that I want to share is about innovative marketing. We convert our neighborhood into our immediate market networks. So when we talk about local marketing, immediately we convert our neighborhood into our market. This is not just at the local market level, but this is also within the region. We convert our neighboring states into our market. Some of the challenges that we have seen marketing with farmers who very often don't know what is marketing except producing. We have faced the challenges of packaging, post-harvest management, and particularly in a place like Nagaland and Manipur, people are still quite comfortable with using the traditional way of marketing and measuring. Many villages still don't weigh their producers by kg wise, and therefore they sell it by bundle wise or by tin wise or basket wise. These need to change. We have seen that potatoes are sold for tins and not for kgs. We have seen that vegetables like cabbages are being sold for gunny bags and not kg wise. We have seen kolar, corn, naga lentil being sold by tin wise and not kg wise. Since last night, I have been negotiating with some villagers in Mokokchung district, and the farmers are hell-bent on selling only on bundle wise for spring onion and not on kg wise. The same thing goes with cucumbers from Waka, cucumbers from Kohima, cucumbers from Tunsan. And so these are the challenges when we talk about modern marketing. That we need to educate our farmers to follow the modern standard weight measuring system in terms of kgs. We have seen that we don't have basic warehousing facilities. We don't have cold rooms, and therefore perishable items like vegetables and fruits is really a challenge. We do have the challenges of bad roads. For instance, a distance of 40 kilometers takes about 3 hours in certain areas of, in many areas of Nagaland actually, and this is quite a huge challenge. We don't have good power supply, and therefore, when we talk about agribusiness and marketing linkages, these are practical challenges. We also have situations where the banks absolutely shy away from agribusiness, and therefore the credit inflow to marketing and to agribusiness is extremely poor. But having said that, in our years of working with thousands of farmers and trying to market their goods and working with street vendors who market few hundred kgs of agri producers every day by thousands of street vendors, we have seen that market is dynamic. It keeps contracting and expanding. And therefore, we may lose at times, but our gains should outweigh the loss. And therefore, agri-marketing becomes a viable venture if we can understand the dynamics of the market. The market can be sometimes monopolistic, and here Nagaland people keep on talking about syndicates. These are true, and I know that no market is perfect. We will never have the equilibrium market. However, in spite of the disequilibrium in the market, I must say that market still pays. And therefore, when we talk about agri-produce, the market may not be in Bombay or Delhi, but the market is immediately within our neighborhood, within our reach. Challenges will be always there, but as an entrepreneur, we must realize that in such a situation like COVID-19 lockdown, people are willing to pay much higher price for vegetables and fruits than in the normal times. Now, this trend should be visible at least for the next 2-3 months. So I want to encourage young people who want to sell agri producers or create local market networks who are in the program today. I want to encourage you people, take it up. There is going to be decent money in agri marketing, and the local market is dynamic. If you are willing to innovate, if you are willing to be creative, if you are willing to soil your hands, dirty your hands a bit, I tell you, there is going to be a decent money in marketing agri producers. And within a short period of time, you will be able to understand much better than what we do now, because this market is dynamic, it is going to grow. The market is not limited. Rather, I would agree with management people who say sky's the limit for entrepreneurship. This is also true for the local market that we have created so far. Sky is the limit. Thank you.
Uh, Thank you, Mr. Dolo, for the sharing of your experiences. And I think you have given a lot of points for our young people to think, food for thought for them. So I hope you'll please wait till the question and answer, because we'll have
Yes.
to respond to our attendee.
Yes.
Coming to the next speaker, if Miss, okay, thank you. Mr. Manoj, are you here? We can't see you, Mr. Manoj.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so I would like to introduce our next speaker panelist, a very well-known figure at national level. He's the Executive Director of the International Competence Center for Organic Agriculture, in short known as ICOA, based in Bangalore and having offices everywhere, all in many parts of India. He's an agriculture graduate and an MBA degree holder. He was a former board member of IFOM Asia, and he has more than 26 years experience in running an organization and working closely with local bodies and FPO and FPC in many states of India. Has traveled widely across the globe for work and presentation, and under his leadership, ICOA has grown in leaps and bounds, and today they are well on its way to have their own farm and training establishment in Bangalore, a feat rarely achieved. So we're very, very glad that he's here, and he is here with their own FPO, whom they have helped, a lady who's going to also represent their FPO. So today we would like to ask you and the FPO leader to kindly share the strategy that this FPC has adopted for local produce marketing, and what do you think are the best strategies to promote local markets? Time is yours, Manoj.
Thank you, Dr. Gali, for that wonderful introduction. You have been doing great as a moderator. You should actually also look for a full-time moderation job internationally. Thank you. Okay, welcome all of you. I was very happy to see the presentation of Honorable Mayor from Philippines, and then Mr. Naichute Duolo from Nagaland. Nagaland is a state that is very close to me. We started our first organic certification training program in Nagaland way back in 2008. Yes, and so we had been very closely associated with especially the organic movement of Nagaland. Today, coming quickly to the point, if you could put up the presentation, uh, will someone from your office put up, or we have to screen share?
Yes, we are putting up.
Great. Yeah, thank you. So just before it starts, I'll just give an introduction because Radha is here. Radha is my our colleague, and she works for this farmer producer companies coordination, and we will give you today a case so that we can quickly understand what happens in a farmer producer company, and we will give you an example from Andhra Pradesh, a state in the south. Now, before that, what is a farmer producer company? Many of you would be knowing in early 2000, this new century, the government of India amended the Companies Act to bring out a special kind of a company which are owned only by farmers. So a farmer producer company is essentially a company. It's just like a private company for all legal requirements. But there are two special things. One is the shareholder can only be farmers or another farmer producer company. No other bank or institutions or investors. Can I request others to mute because there is a noise coming? Um, So yeah, and this is how a company is formed. It is always formed with the farmers. So here in Andhra Pradesh, there is a district called Anantapur. In Anantapur, we are going to give you a case study of a farmer producer company. It's called Gokula Vedam Farmer Producer Company Limited. Gokula Vedam is also a name selected by the farmer themselves. This is a company which is of 500 members. So 500 farmers are its members. Now, how do we create it? We created by going to this district, working closely with the Department of Horticulture and other authorities in selecting farmers who are interested to become part of a company. Now, one more agenda here was because we were already running an organic program there. So we wanted at least 70%, 75% of these farmers to be organic. So there's a mix. In fact, around 25-30% farmers are still not organic, but the idea is to slowly make them organic also. But currently 70-75% are certified organic farmers. The certification was completed last year. The project started in 2018. More details, of course, Radha will tell. Now, how do we make a success of such a company is when you select the farmers from there itself, we must make them very clearly understand the difference between production and marketing. Many a times farmers try to see marketing as, okay, this is something we can do easily or whatever, or maybe sometimes they think that is too complicated also. But it is neither too complicated, not very simple. It has a process to follow. When the farmers are trained, we tell them that when you go to the market, the entire communication package is different. Do not your focus should be to get a price and income better than what you're getting today. But at the same time, do not think that your income will suddenly double or will become 75% more because the certain product is being sold at a retail price. Many a times farmers get confused. They look at a retail price and think that they can expect that. So the first professional training is a farmer is a producer. But for the produce to reach the end consumer, there is a chain. There will be a value addition people, there will be a processor, there will be a transporter, there will be a company which will buy from them, maybe pack themselves because everything cannot be packed by the farmer producer company or farmers. And finally, the chain reaches a consumer, and consumer also has a price. The idea should be that they should be told it's a win-win. They should gain, but also people in the chain should gain. Then only the whole process works. Now, while this theme is about local marketing, my personal experience is like Mr. Dolo said, local is defined. If you think local is only your village, then only around 10 acres or 5 acres of produce can be sold. If your local is district, maybe you can sell producers around 100 or 200 acres. Suppose I'm talking about horticulture or cereals. So I don't think that even the Prime Minister, when the Prime Minister said, let us go local and global, he is not telling that let India produce everything themselves. That's perhaps not the idea. The idea is to make a mix. Similarly, in your company, stick to a lot of practical things, let the business grow slowly, and then while you learn, you can always expand and diversify. Let us now see what Radha has to tell so that we can understand the other parts of this, how this company was built up. Yes. Oh,
Good afternoon, everyone.
really?
Hello.
Yeah, Dr. Akali.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Radha from International Competence Center for Organic Agriculture from ECOWA. I was been working as a coordinator for the Farmer Producer Organization. In Andhra Pradesh, we have in 4 districts we have Farmer Producer Organization. We are developing it.
Come to the slides. Maybe please come to the slide because you have only 10 minutes.
Okay. In Anantapur district, we have a Gokulavedam Farmer Producer Company, where the activities were started in the December 2018. The number of villages are covered of 5, and there are 500 farmers in it, and from each farmer, 1,000 rupees as collected as the share capital, and so the share capital of the Farmer Producer Organization is 5 lakh rupees, and it has been registered, and a FPO bank account and license, everything has been opened, and it has received the fertilizer, pesticides, and the seed license as well within a short period of time. And next, coming to this, we have we have a business activities and market linkages where we have started within a 6 months, and we have generated the revenue also. Coming to this, we have business activity started with the fertilizer business, that is agri input. For this uh, for the fertilizer business, where joint collector and the department officials, they were inaugurated, and the FPO office inauguration and annual general body meeting has been taken up, and the media coverage is also there. And we have started the opening ceremony of the fertilizers, and within a short period of time, like within the 3 months, we have sold to the farmers of our producer company 2,300 bags, and we have generated a revenue of over 13 lakhs. And for the first time, the horticulture department will be providing under the government subsidy scheme the distribution of trays to the farmers. That scheme, it was being taken up by this Gokula Vedam Farmer Producer Company Limited, where the company has retained a small margin, but this subsidy scheme has been gone through our FPC. And coming to the marketing linkages, the main produce of the farmers in that is we have groundnut, banana, and other crops. These are the main producers, where we have sourced and procured all the farmers, and we have collected it, and we have connected our farmers' produce directly to the Sasagri Private Limited, where 5 tons has been collected, and it has been sold. To the company. And coming to the banana is one of the major crop, where we have directly linked up with the Reliance Fresh. Actually, during the Corona COVID-19 situations, here we have sold around 1,200 metric tons, where everybody are facing difficulties to move from one part to another part. We have our team, and we have facilitated the farmers in procuring the bananas and making benefiting to the farmers over within 2 months of this March, April, and this period. Around 1,200 tons of banana has been procured, and it has been from the farm gate, and 30 lakhs of income has been generated. And coming to the way forward, we have another major crops are red chili, banana, pomegranate, papaya. These are the major crops, and the farmers are facing difficulties in storing of the crop, in storage and collecting and everything. So the in way forward, we are establishing a collection center, pre-cooling chamber for expanding our business and facilitating our farmers. And as chili is the major crop in that area, the farmers in that area have to move nearly 300 kilometers, that is to the Guntur, to store their produce into the cold storage. Farmers doesn't have the facilitation of the cold storage to store their products. So we have to facilitate the farmers in providing them the cold storage, processing unit, and collection center. These are our next future business plan for our FPO.
Yeah, thank you, Radha.
Thank you, sir.
You can see that is a small farmer producer company which was created only in December 2018. That is practically in 2019. In 1 year, they were able to bring revenue to such a standing that they are now hiring their own CEO. They're able to pay salary for the people, and the business makes the whole system run within a year, which is what is quite a rare. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Manoj and Ms. Radha, for this real case study. And I think we really badly need, in the Northeast as well as in Nagaland, we have lots of FPO. Only few are functional, and many are yet to become functional. So I think a very good presentation. Thank you. There are some questions, but we will wait for the question answer time. So we will now introduce our next speaker, Mr. Lanu. Are you there, Lanu?
Yes,
yeah, okay. A very young, upcoming youth icon of our state. Very proud to introduce him. as an agripreneur. Mr. Lanu Akam Imchen, he's an organic farmer since 2013. He's a BCom graduate from Mumbai University with accounts as honors and started the brand called Coal Mountains, which is, I think, well known all over, in 2015. And as I always like to mention, with just 3,000, and now exporting to many countries outside, dealing in organic tea, herbs, spices, and fruits, and especially the pineapples. Now with a turnover, I think I cannot mention here. Anyway, he's involved in youth and farmers training on organic farming and marketing since 2016 and has been awarded the Best Organic Farmer India in 2018, and I think many more in the making. He is also a graduate of Impretech, which is the flagship program of the UN. So we're very, very happy to hear from you your experiences during this COVID, the measures that you adopted for marketing the fresh fruits and vegetables, as in charge of the marketing of Nagaland Organic Connect. You've been trying to work with the farmers, so we would like to hear your experiences, the challenges, and what do you think is the best model for Nagaland? Time is yours.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for the introduction, ma'am. I'll be sharing some of the initiative we have taken under NOK during this pandemic, and how one can also replicate the same thing, because that was our main focus when we started the initiative, that we should inspire more people to take up business related to agriculture. So, in regards to our state, we are placed that, we have so many good programs which are related to agriculture, which so many departments and NGOs and individuals from different, fields are taking up in order to promote, agriculture and agricultural activities. Now, with all this in mind, our focus, that is what for Coal Mountain and also for NOK, was always on convergence and collaboration, and how we can bring all the parties into the picture and how we can make more impact. That was one of the things that was continuously being talked about. And this COVID-19 has put us in a spot where we had to put that into action. And then it's been about a month that we have been we have taken up this initiative, and I will be explaining and sharing some of the experiences. So we came up with this model. In short, is called CAFE, CAFA, and C stands for collaboration and convergence, A stands for adapting, F stands for farmers welfare, and E stands for customer, educating the customers. So now, the first thing we did was identify the people that we could collaborate and also help. So what we did was we made a collaboration and also a conversion between NOK, that is Nagaland Organic Connect, Business Association of Nagaland, Coal Mountain, and then the Farmers Group, because everyone was trying to do something on their own. So we decided, why don't we do it, together as a team and make a bigger impact. So that's where the collaboration and conversion started. And what this has taught us is that when we collaborate with one another, the impact can be more. And that's what we got to see as well when we were doing this exercise, that collaboration led to more reach, when it comes to market volume especially. And in this less than 2 weeks, we were able to procure about 45 to 50% of the total production of the plums that the farmers were having, which they were really struggling to market. And then the price that they were getting was 3 times lesser than what they were getting last year. So we intervened. We paid them 2.5 times more than what the others were giving them, and we successfully procured and marketed over 20 metric ton of it in less than 2 weeks. So that is to do with collaboration and conversion. I'll put up more details towards the end. And coming to adapting, times have changed and we all need to adapt. And that's something that we have been talking a lot. And also we have been talking that with different people involved in the value chain, especially the farmers, of how we can adapt. And even for us, even in our case, our model was always targeting on, e-commerce and targeting national market, international marketing. And then we were putting a lot of effort on that. And then COVID-19 happened, and all of that became, a no-go zone. For a few months, there is nothing that we can do about all of that. And that's when we got into the fresh and local marketing. And that's where we started to engage more and educating more people about adapting. And we accordingly, we started talking more with entrepreneurs, with organization, with farmers. And what we as Coal Mountain also did was that instead of just focusing on processing, we made processing the secondary. Now what we did, now this is again related to the collaboration. What we did was we decided that we will do fresh marketing, and then whatever cannot be marketed as fresh, we will do the processing in order to limit the wastage due to short shelf life, and some of the fruits are very perishable. So we decided that in that way we will collaborate and also reduce the risks for the people involved, that is the NOK and BAN and even Coal Mountain. And in that way we will help each other, and also in that way earn revenue and help grow our brand also, and then make sure that the employees are still employed and not left out during these harsh times. So that is some of the things that we did when it comes to adapting. And one of the most important thing when it comes to adapting was it became very important for us, especially when since we're in the agribusiness, that the farmers should be adapting to it as well, that they should be well informed, that they should be well equipped and prepared to face this problem. So that's where the farmers welfare comes into the picture. So what we've been doing for farmers welfare is we've been educating them about the current situation. We've been giving them insights and how we can work it out, and also ensuring about their welfare. Unlike the other traders, we have not been taking advantage of them during this situation, but we've been really working hard to ensure a very strong, a value chain that is very strong and not disrupted by this pandemic. So we have been encouraging the farmers, and what that has resulted is been very encouraging to see. Now, when we encourage the farmers, and we talk as a team, and we even, talk to make business plans and this and that, what we have seen is that the farmers are now adapting better than before. They've become, and due to COVID, can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yeah, yeah, we can hear you.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. So because of the pandemic, they've become more proactive. That's what we have seen, and what's happening is that the way their way of them dealing has also changed, and we have been very encouraged. The way that we're dealing right now is like they send us to produce, we're busy marketing, and then what they tell us is, okay, you market while we harvest for the next batch, and then you can pay us when you come to pick up the next batch. And not just that, some of the farmers have also become agents of marketing our finished products in their own community. Like they say, okay, since it's the final produce of our own, of our own products, we also love to market that in our own community, and let's help each other and build each other. So to see that in the farmers have been really encouraging, and that has all come about by educating them and encouraging them, and by taking care of their welfare. So taking this CAF model, we have been able to give direct employment. Just this initiative alone has given employment to about 20 people directly, and we've employed hundreds of people indirectly in the farms level. And also and another thing that we have seen while we were doing marketing on this coffee thing is about educating the farmers, about educating the customers. That is educating the customers. Well, we don't have to really educate all the farmers, all the customers. A few educated customers can really go a long way in helping you, sell you products. And that's what's exactly happened in our case as well. So what happened is that, our initiative was to bring the farmers' produce and deliver directly to consumers at a very good, reasonable price. So as we were preparing for that, and our first consignment of veggies and fruits had arrived, and as we were working, there were some people who came to us and asked, okay, what are you trying to do? And that's when we educated them. We told them, okay, we're trying to help the farmers. We're trying to intervene so that they can pay the fees of their children, meet their daily needs, and that's what we're trying to do. And that's where you guys can come in and help us as well. And that day, forget about home delivery. Those 3 or 4 customers who came and visited us, they started making phone calls, and then the orders just went off the roof, and they started just coming and picking themselves. So we didn't even get the time to prepare for our bundles. And sometimes from morning 5 a.m. until 12 at night, we had to deliver and prepare for our orders. So one key point here, when since our main goal here is to inspire more people to take up this business, when you do take up, make sure in educating the customers of what your produce is all about. And I tell you that can go a long way, and even in our case that has happened. And now, uh, taking all that into account, in this short about a month or so, what we have been able to do is not just market the farmers' product, but have a bigger impact. And that is, we have been giving employment to those bus drivers and auto drivers and taxi drivers who employment. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Now it's
Yeah,
coming.
yeah. Yeah, and then we have also given employment to those people who were unemployed due to the COVID scenario. And another very encouraging thing is that we have seen many more young people, come to us and then take mentorship from us so that they can start. And we have also seen few of them start. Some of them are even doing value addition. Some of them are doing direct marketing by buying from us at wholesale. So a lot of good has been happening through this initiative, and we as NOK would love to encourage, since there are about 100 more here, that some of you would go on and take up this initiative so that we can impact more. And summing up, I feel that going ahead, building a community where we are helping each other and building a strong value chain will be a key factor to help build our own economy and also generating employment in our state. And that is the need of the hour. And I hope that the 18 this year would take that into consideration. Thank you so much. That's all I have to say for now.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lanu. It's been really inspiring to hear what you could do with our team and the farmers and the young people. A lot of our students as well as the young people are here as attendee, and I'm sure they're inspired, and I hope that they'll take up this along with NOK and with you especially. NOK has been very lucky to have young people like him, like Lanu, then Tia Timjun is here with us today, then Vito, and so many others, young people with us. So we're very, very happy. We hope that we'll take this movement forward. Now we are going to enter to the question and answer round, and then there are a good number of questions even for our Honorable Mayor Rommel, but unfortunately he has to leave because his flight was cancelled and he had to catch the ship, and that's why he has to rush. And moreover, his network was very bad because he's actually in the mountain of Senu City. That's what he sent a message now. And for his next webinar, that is, we're planning on 27, he said he will be in the city with much better network. So he sent his apologies to the attendee, but he said that he will reply. Those 2 questions that was for him, he will be replying through email. So whoever has the email who has registered will get the response back from him. So we want to inform this. And now I'd like to request our Secretary NOK, Mr. Tia Temjen, to kindly take up the question and answer part.
Thank you, ma'am. Before we start the question and answer round, we have two attendees who have raised their hands, and I would like to give them time to first speak, but I request that you kindly first mention who the question is directed to, and also keep your questions brief. So the first attendee I would like to ask to speak is Dr. Mutum Prima Devi. You're allowed to speak now. She's not speaking. Hello? Dr. Mutum? Okay, we'll move on to Mr. Chuba Sashi Iyer. Hello? I think no one's on. Okay, I'll just ask the question. Okay, then since nobody is responding, I'll move on to the question. There was a question that was posted for Mr. Dulo. And he's answered on the chat, but I think it would be good if he could share the response for all the attendees to listen. What are the major roadblocks and challenges to cold storage and post-harvest processing?
Yeah.
Mr. Dulo, yeah.
Yeah, so to me, the biggest challenge to having cold rooms is the challenge of the entrepreneur. We don't have enough entrepreneurs in Nagaland, but we do have enough people wanting to take up government jobs, but not entrepreneurship. And so if a cold room has to be managed, it has to be either in the cooperative mode for farmers, which stands high chance of failure because farmers are not trained to manage cold rooms, but an entrepreneur who is keen to run it as an enterprise can definitely run it well. So for the bottlenecks, cold room to me, the biggest bottleneck is short supply of entrepreneurs. Then of course, when we talk about having an entrepreneur ready to take it up, we do need capital to start, which of course, bank loans are never ever ready in Nagaland. Banks are extremely shy of doing business with the local folks in Nagaland. But there is alternative. It's not very difficult to raise about 10 to 15 lakhs for a person who wants to raise that much amount. And 15 lakhs can support a good cold room. And therefore, that can be done by raising local shares or local investments from within the society, within your family or your friends' network. So there is not real bottleneck if somebody is willing to take it up. The second question about post-harvest management, I think we need to really train more farmers on post-harvest management. This have to be done extensively as well as intensively. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dolo. I think it answers the question. And moving on to another there are two questions for Mr. Manoj and Radha. I don't know if you have seen the question yourself, but this is about the organic inputs. They want to know what is the organic input that you produce and what is the, how do you produce, how do you rate, I mean, how do you make the rates and where do you sell? It's about this, because this is a big challenge in all the organic farming. So either one of you can respond to this.
So shall I?
Sure.
Ma'am, as already Manoj Menon sir has explained that 70% of our farmers are from the organic project we have. we are already been we have already the organic project since from 3 years. So 70% of the farmers are like organically certified since 3 years they were having, and 30% of the farmers are newly joined into the FPO. So we have to facilitate all the farmers. So in considering that, we are selling the phosphorus, potassium, nitrogen, like DAP, MOP, those fertilizers we are selling, and including that bio inputs are also, we are also selling bio inputs like Pseudomonas, Trichoderma, sulfur, phosphorus, and Metarhizium verticillium. For this, our board of the farmers producer company board of directors and some of the interested FIC leaders are professionally trained in institutes like National Bureau of Agri-Insect Research in Bangalore and some of the institutes in Hyderabad. They were professionally trained in producing the biological fertilizers. So depending on the need, which crops they are growing, based on the season and the need, the farmers previously they will be taking and they will be producing the required amount of biofertilizers, and based on the cost of producing for the biofertilizer, for the biological fertilizers, they will keep like 5 rupees or something on margin on that, and they will be selling to the farmers. And coming to the general fertilizers like DAP, MOP, in the market we will be getting for around, if when comparing to the market here, we'll be giving to 10% discount to them. Like if for example, if the bag rate in the market is around 250 rupees, but we are directly procuring from the companies around 230 rupees. So we'll be just keeping like 5 rupees or 6 rupees margin just to make a turnover and to run the farmer producer company. We will be taking up just a small margin so that farmers will be benefited, and even the FPC company also can be ramped up. This is the way we are following it. And as we have started initially in a small quantities, since we have only 5 lakh rupees of share as the capital, so once there are like we will be getting a matching grant.
Radha, yeah, thank you. Just to sum it up, a farmer producer company, as per the government guideline and also from an entrepreneurship point of view, it has 3 functions. One is input, to provide input to the farmers at a price lesser than what they are currently getting. Second is to help them in the process of market farming. For example, running a custom hiring center. They keep tractor and implements which farmers can take on hire and get it at a lower price than market. And third is output marketing, which is the produce marketing. So these questions are only on input. It seems that, please do not miss that a farmer producer company is a company which will do entire supply chain, provide input. For that, what they do is, as Radha correctly said, they buy fertilizers and pesticides directly from the companies at a lower price, and farmers also get therefore at a lower price for such farmers who are not organic. For the organic farmers, they buy biofertilizers also and provide that to the farmer. Second part is they also train farmers on better practices in farming, better seed and custom hiring centers. And the third is output marketing. For example, red chilies, peanuts, bananas were example of output marketing. I personally suggest, and I always tell my team, have 70 or 80% focus more on output marketing. Input marketing should not be a major focus, but entire thing is a role. Is this clear? I mean, is it clearly the output?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
We have one final question for, I think, Lanu. How did you manage the processing of the food? Did you procure some instruments? And what about certification issues?
Lanu?
Yeah, can you repeat the question once? Just let me check.
How did you manage the processing of the food? Did you procure some instruments? And what about certification issues?
Oh, okay. Yes, we do have a processing unit, which was operational just recently in the month of January. So that was the major challenge that we were facing because of COVID. We were not fully functional, and that's why we were not able to, procure everything that the farmers were providing. And that's where we had to, go into the fresh produce marketing as well. So yes, we already had machines in place, and as of certification, we are under One Cert International. So they take care of our certification need. One can Google and find out about them more. Or if you need more information, maybe they can send an email and we can provide more information on that. Tia?
Yeah, okay, sorry. Thank you. I think that answered the question. Uh, Next, we have a question for two more questions. Sorry, for Mr. Dulo. How is cold chain maintained in the supply chain management, especially for horticultural produce, in special reference to Nagaland?
Unfortunately, we have a number of cold rooms in paper in Nagaland, but we have very few actually working at the ground level.
Okay.
So I hope that answers.
I think, yeah, in the supply. That's it.
Okay, one more question is there to Mr. Manoj. Mr. Manoj is there?
Is that your mic? Okay.
Yes.
I think, have you seen the question about the middleman?
Sorry, can you repeat? I see a question about the requirement of linking farmers to agri retail markets, but is that
Okay. Yeah, that is another question that has come. You can just answer that.
okay? You see, if you wish to link your produce to any retail markets, then speak to them about their quality requirements. There is something called specifications, specs, they say, and one is the specs, and another is you need to also give a very clear supply schedule. Many of the times, these big companies are not able to work with farmer groups because farmers are giving them 1 week, then it's not available next week. Then it is again available the third week, and then it's not available the fourth week, and that becomes a major problem for retail chain, because a retail chain works 365 days. Your crop can be seasonal, but at least in that season, you should be very steady. For example, pineapple, 2 or 2.5 months, you have to tell so much of tons I can supply. And in that ton, they will give you a spec, and your specs must match. No retail chain, no farmer will be able to buy everything that the farmer produces. That is the biggest challenge when it comes to linking. So you need to work with, ideally, you have to work with a retail chain for the quality that they want, but you'll also have to find another buyer who will buy what is not required by this retail chain. This is how it works.
Thank you, sir. And now we'll take the last question, which is again for Lanu. To set up a food processing industry, what can be the initial investment?
Okay, that's a little tricky question. That all depends on what you are trying to process. For us, in our case, we just started with 3,000, and that's how we started. But if you are to install all the proper machines and also have it certified organically, I think the minimum requirement will not be less than 20 lakhs. I think that's the bar where you can for a for to have a very good output as well. If you have a processing unit, you're also looking at the output. So it should be minimum 20 lakhs. In our case, The current processing that we have is about 1.5 CR. So I hope that answers the question.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Lanu. I think, as rightly said by Lanu, I think they started with 3,000, and I think if you have the fire inside you, you can start with any amount. I think that, not necessarily having 20 lakhs to start the enterprise. So I think that answers the question. And I think there are many more questions coming, but I guess there are too many questions again. Should we again? Actually, we started a little late. So if we are late for another 5 minutes, I hope the attendee will bear with us. But to Dolo again, there's a question. You mentioned the farmers in Nagaland do their business without a proper metric system. Is that because theirs is a setback in the profit made, or just a vast of traditional ingenuity of our farmers? Mr. Dolo?
Yes, I think it's the ingenuity of our farmers, but it also means our refusal to move on. The modern economy, unless we have an acceptable standard of measuring system, we can't continue with the traditional way of assessment, which is normally done by some experts in the village or by the experiences of the farmers. And therefore, to me, it's our people's refusal to move on and take advantage of the modern economic systems in place.
You ask us fast, you ask.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And just to have one last question. So there is a need to promote organic producer groups and aggregation center at village level. Financial viability and operational cost of these institutions, especially small villages, continue to be a challenge to sustain these community institutions and livelihood assets. Are there any experiences or models that can be shared? It's open to anybody.
Okay, I think these questions, maybe we'll take it later because I think Sir Romel is also not here, and I think some of the members, surely they'll be able to answer this. We'll write back on mail to Mr. Roland, CEO, Nagaland State Rural Livelihood Mission Department of RD. Now we would like to sum it up, and for that we wanted to request our patron. He's our Sir Alamtumshi Jamir. He's IS, and he was the former chief secretary and presently the CEO of IDAN, and a very a guiding torch for us as a NOK patron. And so we are delighted to have him here today in spite of his busy schedule. And so I would like to request him to give a closing remark. Sir.
Okay, can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. It's very nice to be with you today, and thank you for this opportunity to address all of you. If not anything else, it's a closing remark. Now, one thought that entered my mind as the discussions were going on was that, you see, when we're talking of human civilization, we may be 70, 80,000 years, and then when mankind took to settle agriculture about 10,000 years ago, the issue of marketing has been with mankind ever since, the settled agriculture and other, barter systems and all these things came up. So some societies have sort of answered the questions, but there are some societies where questions are still not answered, even till today. Like in today's group, we have on the one spectrum, we have people like Manoj and Ekoa in Bangalore and other places of India, where to some extent the marketing systems have got their own, like the water finding its own level. it has got going. On the other spectrum, we have raw places like the Northeast, Nagaland, and then even Arunachal and all the other states, where even the people are, like Nichute has said, people are selling in bags or in bundles, and even the metric system has not yet taken roots. So within this spectrum of things, we are discussing generally about marketing, which is actually very important, but we have to keep this in our minds that there are certain places where the systems are still raw, and there are systems where there are places where the systems have been refined. I think we'll have to give and take. And we have today, we are very, very happy that we have got a lot of participants from all over the place. I see there's a participant from Italy. We have a panelist from Philippines and all that, and we have richly gained from their participation. And I think with this kind of interaction and interface, we can hope to get the things moving. And with leadership like Nichide and Lanuakam in Nagaland, and then maybe we can share our experiences with other farmers in the other parts of Northeast. Things will, grow. Nichude's point about neighborhood marketing, improving not only just the localized things, but incorporating the other states. I think that's a very good concept, and then I think we should, try to build up on all this. I'm speaking from the Nagaland point of view because I feel that NOK is, they're trying to build up the Nagaland and then the Northeast systems. But I'm really grateful that, we have Manoj, Mr. Manoj, and then Radha from ICOA. Thank you for your time and then your wisdom in giving us your inputs. We're really grateful. And then we are also very grateful to Sandeep, although he's not here, for helping us link, particularly with Mr. Romel Arnadan. And it's been a privilege. And then actually, I'm looking forward to next week's webinar, where Mr. Romel will be giving us a feedback on about how the insurgency movement has been, sort of doused or assisted by, organizing the market and organizing the farmer. And this is a very important issue, not only for the Philippines or not only for Nagaland, but maybe even for the rest of the country. We have the Naxalites in the other parts of the country, and then we have to really pay attention to all this. So we thank them for participating here, and then we look forward to their continued involvement in these discussions and dialogue. And we have learned a lot, I'm sure. And as you said, you will keep the participants in the loop by giving this the email address. I've seen that email has already come. Mr. Romel's email has already been put up on the thing. We can connect all of them, and then we will look forward to more discussions and participations, and let the farmers farm and farm products and markets grow. That's all the wish. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, everyone. Thank you, the panelists, everybody, and the attendee. Hope to see you again.
Dr. Kelly, 1 minute.
Yeah, okay.
First of all, to thank Alim sir. It's always been a pleasure hearing you, whether you are speaking or singing. It is a pleasure to be with you. I just want to make one small request, sir. As you correctly said, it seems to be two worlds. One world is people like Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, etc., market linkages. Another challenge is in the Northeast, Nagaland. Now, my request is there are opportunities where this linkage can happen. For example, is this MOVCD project, the Mission for Value Chain Development in the Northeast. And Nagaland has now got a phase 3 project, a big project. I just want to bring this into your attention that either NOK or an organization like LANO, let these people be part of such a project. And also I can bring buyers like ITC, Olam, Big Basket, Big Bazaar, etc. to such. What happens is in such project, if the department or the state is running alone, we will never be able to use the learnings from this side. Let some companies and experts come from this side, and let Nagaland own projects be there. In such collaboration, especially the MOVCD project, which is basically for value chain and processing. It will be wonderful, and you have, sir, the access to knock at the right door and bring this possible.
Yes,
That's all.
a very important thing. I hope you'll have more webinar and discussions on this, and then bring in those ITCs and Reliance and how to link up. Then the true marketing systems will start. Thank you very much for all the suggestions.
Thank you, sir. Always a
Thank
pleasure.
you. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Thank you,
Sir,
Dr.
yeah, so I think for the information, I think phase 3 is going to involve the other private parties. I think they have already taken a decision, so we're looking forward to it. Thank you so much, everybody, and the attendee as well. We hope to see you on 27th again for our program, important program that's coming up. Have a great day.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.